Hey everyone, today's video is all about trays. Trays come in all different shapes and sizes to serve different purposes. Today I'm going to focus on smaller trays that are more of a centerpiece and can also be used to help organize things. Here I have some that I've already made, and today I'm going to show you how I made them using my CNC router. But first, I'm going to show you how I designed one of them in my CAD design program, and then I'll show you how they're made on the machine. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay everyone, so here we are. We're in Vectric. That's what I use. I have Vectric Aspire, and I'm just going to show you how I quickly make the rectangular tray here. So I've gone ahead really quickly and so the first thing we've got to do is put in what size board we're going to start with, our stock material. And for this project, my stock material is a board that is 12 inches long, it's 7 inches wide, and it's 1 inch thick. So once we've done all that, here we always, my zero position, which is what the machine will read its zero off of, which is this corner, is from the top surface. That's the way I like it. So none of this has to be changed. Yeah, so it's all good. And I'm going to say okay to this. Okay, so here we are. We've got our board. The only problem with it, this board currently doesn't have any thickness to it. Here on a 3D view, and you can see it's perfectly flat. So what we have to do is go back into the 2D, and we're going to add dimension to it. So we'll click over here on making vectors, and we're going to draw a rectangle. Again, same size, 12 by 7. We're going to go with square corners on this one. We do not want any radius corners yet. I'll get into that in a minute. We're going to create it, and there we go. So now we have created a vector around the whole perimeter, and we can then select that, okay, and we go over to modeling tools here. We're going to create a flat shape. So we go in here and we have our base height, and we want to put 1 in there for 1 inch. And when we create that, we'll wait until it does it, and there we go. All right, and then you just close it. And now what we've done is we've actually created a board that is 12 by 7 and now actually 1 inch thick, as you can see. All right. So going back to the 2D view, and now we can go and put in the actual lines for the tray. So the first thing we're going to do is the actual dimension of the tray, and we're going to go back to drawing a rectangle. And this time around, we're going to do radius corners because we want that in the design. All right. And this outside, this is the perimeter of the tray. It'll have 3/4 of an inch radius on the outside, but the tray is actually 11 by 6. So we're going to go 11, change that to 6, and we have radius corners, so we're good. So we make it, and there you have it. Okay. Now that's the outside of the tray, and now we have to make the inside wall, let's say, of the tray. So we're going to do the same thing again, and this time around, because we're going a little smaller, the radius is actually going to be a 1/2 inch on the inside, and the dimension, depending on how thick you want that wall to be, I want this one to be at 10.25, and the height will be 5.25. Okay, there we go. We'll create that. So there you go. And now we have our outer wall and our inner wall of the tray. And believe it or not, that's it as far as designing it. Now we just go over to the tool paths, and this is where it's real simple. So to start with, I will probably do the inside, and we're going to select the inside wall here. And if we go over on our toolpath operations, Actually, first, let me just double check our material. I just want to make sure nothing changed. Yeah, so we have 1 inch thick material. Um, Everything here looks good, so that's fine. I just want to double check that. But so to do the inside of the tray here, we're going to choose this option, which is called Pocket Toolpath, and you select it. And you have the start depth. So this is important. We're going to start at 0 inches, which is the surface of the board, the very, very top of the board. And then you want to go down to your cut depth. And that you can, vary whatever you like. I particularly like 5/8 of an inch down from the surface. So that's what I have already put in as my cut depth. So that will be the floor of the tray. It will be 5/8 of an inch down from the surface. I will be using my Radius end mill. I have it already selected for this particular operation. Mine happens to be 1.25 inches in diameter, and it has a 1/4 inch radius. It's a tray bit, so they're all pretty much, I think, a 1/4 inch radius, uh, at the bottom. So that looks good. Pretty sure all my settings for that are correct. On this one, I'm going to use the offset machining in the climb cut, and that looks all good. I'm not going to ramp in on this. There's no need to do it. So that is fine. We'll calculate it, and this is how it's going to cut it. All right. So now that we've done the pocket, we go ahead here and we select the outer edge, which is the profile, and you click Profile Toolpath. And same thing. On this one, same process. We're going to start at the surface. We're going to go to a cut depth. This one, it'll be 1 inch. So, um, and I'm going to be using a 3/8 inch end mill. That's just what I happen to be using. And it's going to do it in 6 passes. Now, here's where I use mounting tape for mine to hold it. Sometimes I use tabs, and sometimes I don't. If you want to, you can add tabs from this selection here. But in this particular case, I won't be using tabs. I'm just going to be using mounting tape for both the inner part of the tray and for the outer part. So I lock them in place so that once I cut this profile, and the two parts are separated, I won't have this outer part kicking into the router bit and causing problems. But if you don't use mounting tape, then you have to add tabs to it. And, generally you'd add one here, 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 and here. And that would help stabilize it so that, again, you don't bang into the router bit. But other than that, I think everything here looks good. So we'll just press calculate, and it seems good. Run it also. Yeah, it did it super fast. So for whatever reason, it didn't cut the depth as deep as it should have on the pocket. Let me just double check that. Yeah. Oh, somebody added in this was from a prior, it's supposed to be 6 to 5. Sorry about that. It was only going to cut a 16th there. So now it should be fine. All right, there we go. I'll run that one real quick. And there we go. Now it looks like a tray. All right, so again, really simple to do. Not a lot involved in making a tray simple like this. From this point, I would just select my toolpaths here, and you would click Save Toolpaths. I have it selected so that all the visible toolpaths are then saved, and I would click on this and it would create a file. I've already done all this. I'm just giving you guys an example. So yeah, so that's all that's involved in making a tray like this. It's very simple. It's one of the more basic designs projects that you could do on a CNC. So, all right, so from here, now we're going to go over to the machine and we'll start machining one. First, let me go over the bits that I'm going to be using to make the trays. And the first bit that you'll see here is the 3/8 inch 2-flute upcut end mill. And these bits are both in 1/2 inch shank. That's what I use on my machine. And they're also available in 1/4 inch shank. They'll be a little smaller in size, but you can certainly find them, you know, in 1/4 inch as well. So this bit will do the profile. It'll cut out the trays, and then next to it I have a 1.25 inch bowl and tray bit with a 1/4 inch radius at the bottom, and this one happens to be 1.25 inch wide, and again 1/2 inch shank, and it will be doing the work of carving out the bowl on the inside of the trays. So so that's it. Yeah, that's the 2 bits that I'll be using. It's really simple, and again, either of these are available in you know 1/4 inch shank. So now that we've seen the bits that I'll be using today to make the trays, I wanted to show you my setup on how I mount my boards to the table and what I use to mount it. I really like this product. It's Gorilla tape. It's a mounting tape. It's 2-sided tape, and I started using it you know, a little while ago, and really fell in love with it. The stuff's so easy to use, and it's super strong, really thin. So it kind of makes clamping, I don't want to say unnecessary, but when you're going completely through material, this is the easiest way I've found to do it. So let me explain what I've got here. I've got my sacrificial board underneath, so that when I'm cutting through the tray, it'll cut into this and not my hybrid table. This is firmly mounted with clamps so that it won't move. And again, this is nowhere near any of the bit, so I don't have to worry about the clamps being in the way or anything like that. And then, so for this example, I've got a piece of walnut for the tray, and this piece is going to be mounted, you know, like this on the sacrificial board, and the tray will be cut out of the center here, and then the outside is waste. So I have to use 2 different forms of tape, one to control the outside piece that's, you know, scrap, and to keep that from moving, and then I've got the inner tape to hold the actual tray itself. The reason I do this is because I don't use tabs, and you know, tabs are a way that if you're doing this kind of work, and you can leave tabs, so you can say like 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs here, and then you have to cut them off afterward. And what that basically does is that when you cut through, it keeps the center piece that you're working on from, you know, moving around and banging into the bit and causing a lot of damage. But it's extra work. Now you have to cut those tabs off, sand them, so on and so forth. And so I don't like doing that. It's just more time, you know, and more money wasted, again, on time, which is precious. So I've eliminated using tabs and just use this method to lock in that center piece that I'm trying to cut out so it won't move, and again, causes me less work. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the backer off and stick this on, and then I can, you know, start showing you the process of machining it. Okay, so we're going to begin carving out the pocket for the tray. The tool is being measured right now, and it will start in a few seconds. Okay, so this is the tray after it finished the pocket profile. And I did this as a test because I had a very large step over on this particular run. And as you can see the lines, as the bit stepped over each time. So I was trying to do it fast to see what it would look like, and surely you can't feel them, but visibly you can see them. So what I did now is I went back in, created a new pocket toolpath for this one with a tighter step over, and I went from I believe this one was 0.4 something of a step over. And so now I've gone to 1/8 of an inch step over, and it's just going to go down 3/1000ths. And I just want to see, I've sped it up much faster too, kind of like, it's just a cleanup pass, and see how that looks with the 1/8 inch step over. All right, so here we go. Okay, so full disclosure here, I had to change the board out because I accidentally selected the wrong profile line, and when I went to go do the tighter step over, it went to the profile line, so it went too far out in the dish. Anyway, so I corrected all of that, and we should now be correct. So let me run this final pass for a tighter step over, and fingers crossed. Okay, so this is how it looks after the tighter step over on a final pass for the pocket. And just so we know, I went ahead, and this is on a 1/16 of an inch step over now. So you can barely see any lines in it. I mean, there's very minor handwork here. I could go with a much, I could still go even tighter than this, but it'll take forever to cut it, and that's not what I really want to do. And I really think this is so minute that I could easily sand that out and not have any problems with it, and it won't take very long to do as well. So all right, so now I'm going to load the bit for cutting the profile out, and that will be it for the machine. Then we'll have to take it out of the CNC, and I will do some round over treatment to the edges. Okay, so we're going to cut the profile now. All right, so this is what it looks like out of the machine. As you can see, again, the lines are very minute on the surface of the dish there. Really happy with that, and pretty clean. I touched up the edges a little bit, just because I sanded the outside edges just a tad because of the bearing that's going to ride for the round over bit. And I wanted to really have a smooth surface, you know, for that. So I'm over at the shaper right now. This is my new shaper, and this is from Grizzly. It's a Shop Fox. It's a 2 horsepower. It's replacing my router table. My router died on me after 15 or so years. So rather than replace it, I just decided to upgrade and, you know, go with the shaper. I'm still waiting for the shaper cutters to come. So in the interim, I have a router bit spindle set up for it, and I'm just using a 1/4 inch round over bit on it. So so yeah, I'm going to go ahead now and just round over the edges, and let's see how that looks. I've been experimenting with the radius on the roundover. On this rectangular tray, I did it first with a 1/4 inch you know, radius roundover, and I thought it was a little too big. And then I did the inside here in 1/8 inch, and I actually liked that better. So I did the oval one now with the 1/8 inch roundover, both on the outside and the inside, and I really like how that looks. It's a more subtle roundover. This, I think, was the other ones, I think, was just too much, a little too big. So you know, learning as I go here what I like, what I don't like, and, you know, refining the process. But I think I have it pretty much. You know, I pretty much got it nailed down as far as, you know, first doing a roughing pass on the inner part, and then a final, you know, very light pass with a very tight step over. Gives a nice clean look on the inside. Very minimal hand sanding to be done. And then I just cut the profile, you know, around the outside, and then do the round over. So it's pretty easy. All right, so I've got a few more to do. I'm doing a square one and a round one, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so these are the 2 last trays. I made the 6-inch square and a 6-inch round, and both with a 1/8 inch radius round over on all the edges. Yeah, pretty cool looking. I think I've got it, the process pretty refined. You know, there's very faint lines that would require very minute sanding, you know, to get that to come out before applying like an oil finish to it. So I'm very pleased with the way these turned out, and I'm going to get them lightly sanded up, and then I'll put a coat of oil to really get that grain to pop out. All right, so here are the trays after I given them a quick sanding and I applied a finish to them. You can see the different shapes, and the one that I made that has the weave pattern on the floor of the tray. That one's probably my favorite between that one and the oval one. I really like that one especially. But yeah, I think they turned out pretty cool. You know, the rectangle one, the square, the oval, and the circle are basically all the same, you know, process. It's just a little different design, but they're really easy to make. This one with the weave in it, that's a little more complicated, you know, because of the weave, and there's a lot of variables that you can put into it, you know, to change the look of the weave, the size of it. So that one requires more time and effort, and even afterward to sand it. So And again, you know, these are, you can change the size. It doesn't change anything else about the machining. It's really simple to do. So, so a really cool, fun project on a scale of easy to hard. I'd say these are really easy. It's a great beginner project, except for that one with the weave in it. That's a little more difficult, a little more advanced. But yeah, great for someone out there who's just starting out with CNC and you want to make something. This is the way to go. So, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.